The Catalan government's plans to declare unilateral independence from Spain have been thrown into doubt by Spain's constitutional court, which has suspended the parliament's session due to take place this Monday. Catalan leaders held an independence referendum on Sunday that was banned by Madrid, with the results of the referendum were due to be discussed at the parliamentary session. Well, Dr. Ruben Perez-Hidalgo is a senior lecturer in Spanish studies at the University of Sydney, and he joins me now. Dr. Ruben, thanks very much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
This suspension of the Catalan Parliament, how much of a setback is that for the push for independence?
Well, the real problem is that this ship has sailed already, and they're treating a political problem as a legal problem or legalistic problem. So in terms of a setback, we still are in the same position because the political problem is not being addressed. So the political impetus and the population in Catalonia are not going to give up the idea of independence. So we're still at a standstill.
So what next for the Catalans' push then?
So that's a real question. We don't really know because we keep treating in Spain a political problem that should have been addressed decades ago, not last year, not 2 years ago, but decades ago, and especially 5 years ago, when the new autonomous law for a new redirection of Catalonia into Spain was proposed and was set annulled by the constitutional judges at that time. That was 5-6 years ago. So at this point, they keep trying to resolve the matter with the same tools, the same legal tools, without addressing the political problem. So that's we having two trains that are bound to clash, that are clashing, and we keep going in the same direction.
As you say, it's been a long-running fight. Do you think this turmoil, this recent turmoil, is not helping the Catalan independence cause?
It is, if anything, it is helping the cause. That's the real problem, because when you saw that violence against people that just wanted to vote, that was the discourse that was created at that time. So, and again, that was a legal recourse to a political problem, and then you saw the tension, and now again you can say, look at the central government. It is still it's repressing the voice of the Catalonians.
So this move to suspend Parliament, for example, will that make more people flock to the independence cause?
And especially because there are multiple people that don't necessarily want to vote for independence. And just think about the progression in numbers. Just like 5-6 years ago, you only have about 20% of Catalans who wanted independence. Now we are in the 50s, 50% in only 5 to 6 years. So if anything, this is pushing towards that direction. It seems like they're pushing people to say, hey, look, we don't really belong in this country.
What role does the EU play here, or what role could it play?
It could have. The problem that we have really with the EU is that the EU at some point, Jean-Claude Juncker said something to the effect, well, we will accept Catalonia's independence if it's within the legal parameters of Spain's constitution. So there's basically putting they're playing both hands in a way. So they're saying, yeah, we will accept you, but only if Spain deems that independence legal. And of course, Spain is not really. It's saying it's completely illegal. So the EU cannot really say that is completely legal because Catalonia, it's a major economic power, and it will also question the very integrity of the EU. So they have their hands tied behind their back in a way, and they're in a very difficult position.
What effect could this have on the rest of Europe? Could it inspire independence movements in the rest of Europe?
That is a real problem. It's not so much independence movements, but the idea of the EU as being this solid block that we saw at the time with Greece, when Greece was not even saying we want to leave, but there was a little a little crack in the door, saying, well, if we cannot live under these conditions. And the EU went all the way to say, not only you're going to live under these conditions, but you're going to live under these conditions, are you going to stay? So you don't have the chance to leave the EU. So at that time, what the message the EU was sending was the uncorruptibility of European integrity. So the only way for Catalonia to actually leave Spain is by getting into the EU, because the EU is not gonna really accept anything but that framework.
Yeah, very interesting. All right, Doctor, thanks very much for coming in and speaking with us tonight.
Thank you.